All right, I gotta put this thing on. So, I guess I have to start listening and then doing. I'm getting better and better at this. But Hamid Bey and I were hanging out earlier today. I was reading one of his lessons, and he said, "Bring it." I said, "Well, I'm not doing the Coptic moment." So, lesson number 23. If you have the lessons, pull it up. That's the one he wanted to present, and it actually goes with what I'm doing, I guess. So, I just have to turn off the false essence lights because it blows me out a little bit. Thank you. Sorry. No, because I got to see something. Well, I'm an old theater guy, you know. So, yes, when John, this is a whole system now we have worked out. When John calls me, and then I ask, and about within 12 hours, sometimes 12 minutes, the title comes in. So I call him a couple days later, and I already had written something about this, and I said, okay, it's going to be the Soul Diamond. Well, that's going to be a continuation. There's going to be a kind of a intro to this, but I guess that's coming later. Because, and I'll explain, it's very interesting the way things happened, how this happened, but Archangel Michael came in, and so, what are you going to do? Say no? So, and the story behind it, and then I'll just get into my presentation, but I wanted to kind of, because I think a lot of us are probably going through this, so don't doubt, especially when you really feel that and you know that something's speaking and it's not your voice. Be silent, let it be. Be still and know that I am there. Be still and know that I'm with you. Those definitely come in, those words first. If you hear and then you can start tuning in. You're like a radio station. And then more and more of us are opening up because we're here to do that, to help others understand the time that we're in. We've all been waiting for this. Now it's time to do it. So, first, it comes in little symbols. It's fun that way. So we have a little game. So first, my dad has doves, and he's been raising pigeons. It's our family goes way back. He races them because my great-grandfather, my grandfather, they're from Europe, and they brought the pigeons back. So it's a memory of his father, and he's gotten into it. And so he has a dove release that he does as a little side business and for funerals and for weddings. And the brand new birds, it was probably about 3 weeks ago, had their first flight, and I just happened to walk out just as he released them, and so I'm walking, and first flight for these boys and girls, never flown before, and one just drops a feather and starts flying, and I just go chase it, because the feather is one of the things that they help me affirm that there's truth and that something's happening, so when I doubt things. I'll walk and see a feather and I'll pick it up and it'll be my sign that go with it. Don't ignore it. Don't doubt it. Just let it be. So that was the first thing. And I've never really talked with Archangel Michael before, never identified him, but then the next thing. So then one of my students comes in and hands me this book. A couple days later, Archangel Michael. I felt like you needed to have this book. I'm like, okay. And I set aside, I needed something new to read. Oh, cool, because I love the game of seeking too. So it says Miracles of Archangel Michael. I was like, oh. So then I'm sitting, and Nathan's across, and we have these things where we go back and forth and have our spiritual debates and all that. We were in one of these moments. I said, I don't know what this is or whatever. And I started thinking, my dog was freaking out for a couple days. Jordan, the witness, says, look, there's somebody on my left side. And because my dog kept looking and saying, and trying to get my attention, like there's somebody there, right? And he was not looking at me, and I was thinking, this is so weird. And I felt a presence, but I wasn't like tuned in, right? So then here's Thursday, and I was like, okay, Thursday before a presentation, I said, okay, what you got? I sit down, and I put a blank sheet of paper, and I set my pen down, and I just sit there and wait. That's our system. So I'm talking to Nathan, and I said, wow, there's this being. I think it was one of your old selves or something. He's right there in between, right there, standing there. He has this huge sword, and it's light. It's made out of light. It looks like one of those lightsabers. And it's this being. It's like, wow, that's incredible. Then I look at the picture, and there he is with the sword and the light. I said, okay, what you got? So he's like, I would like to send a message, and that's going to be at the end. So if you came here today, and this is definitely something you were brought here, he is definitely working with you. So don't doubt. So if you've had those moments lately, and you've had those, he's very, very strong right now, close to us with his people. He's been sent. It is that time. And he is there. He's definitely available to call upon at any moment when fear and doubt come in. That's his forte. Fear and doubt. Fear and doubt. If you have loved ones, his powers are really, really strong right now. And call on him. He's there. When you call on him, it increases his vibration. You are here. You will help ground his energy into this plane, which is the battle is won. But in the physical, we're going to be seeing a lot of later effects because the physical vibration rotates and moves a little slower. This will all kind of be explained, hopefully, in the message. So, a little background. Speaking of 10 years, it's my 10-year anniversary, too, this year, when I came back to Michigan in 2007. For people that don't know my background and how I came back here, was basically on a gurney, was dying of AIDS, and I had a very severe meth addiction on top of that. I basically, mom was calling the priest, and I was giving up. But I got to basically go to the other side for a moment. And that 2007 is when I decided to stick around and come back and not take my rest. From that point on, this has been, then I found John, I found the Coptic, I now own a dance studio. So I started finding a purpose, and I allowed the voice, instead of running from the voice, instead of beating my head, instead of freaking out, instead of trying to have distraction and denial as my weapons, I decided just to accept it and start to listen more to the voice. So, what I'd like to do is get you in a space as receptive as you can, and I'm going to read these to you. This is a trilogy. This is 3 presentations, but it'll go pretty fast, and it all connects. But if you'd like to, we're going to, for Christmas, please give Jordan your email, and we're going to, he's the English major, so he's going to make it all coherent, and then he can email any of this presentation that if you would like to reread it later. And this is all channeled. So, oh my God, here it is. Coptic moment. I stuck it in there. So, okay, I'm going to do your Coptic moment, and it's very brief. I must have just moved my hand for me. As long as you remain a living human being, whatever you have learned is individualized for your own individual benefit. Can you hear me? When you pass on, your memory is not only yours anymore, but becomes available to all disembodied souls as theirs, in turn, becomes available to you. Thus you have the opportunity to gain a tremendous amount of wisdom by your transition into the astral world. However, the person who is able to obtain an astral consciousness, that is, can transpose his consciousness from physiological subconscious ego personality into an astral consciousness while living, does not have to wait until he has died to receive the benefit of contacting all the other people. He can share in the great book of wisdom of the Akashic records of the astral world, and thereby he can tap all the records of all souls that have existed on the face of this earth since time began. For such knowledge is stored in the universal astral consciousness. So that has something to do with the Soul Diamond presentation that's coming. When we are born into this sphere, the purity of our presence is very strong. The outer shell of our self-created entity is not yet in existence. We are not a who, a what, or a where from. The power of our presence is strong and magnetic. We are a beautiful canvas of pure potentiality and a spark of divine intent. Fear has not yet settled into our energy field. Judgments have not yet set limits. And belief systems have not yet set parameters on our experiences. Beingness is all we know. The now is where we live. We are a clear mirror of love's presence in the body of joy and hope. So isn't it great that no matter what we are still the beautiful little God babies? Now it's our turn, as practicing co-creators, to form our personalities and our personal realities as individuated forms of God mind. As the forgetting starts, our attention is diverted to the senses, emotions, and physical realm. The human experience has begun. And all along, while we are creating this new story of God as a self, the power of that presence is always a single breath away. When a person performs, for instance, presence is one of the most important ingredients of that moment. Most of the intellect must be bypassed in order to more purely communicate our intent to our audience. I call this the 4 M's: music, motion, moment, magic. To help us communicate our strength through the language of the body. God has been teaching me the power of intent and presence through my craft. It's been a fun and grace-filled dance. So these are a few things I've learned over the years of having an inner body experience. The mind must be put away so we can experience the pure presence of our spirit. The body only knows one time and can only exist in the now. It offers us, by its nature, awareness and a primordial experience. It is our looking glass, our chamber of secrets, and vessel for love and Christ consciousness as our soul enters the physical realm. We are shamans, warriors, lovers, unity in motion, and the language of nature's creation. We are a gift of God's perfect and unending grace. So a message from Yeshua from a book called Heroic Life. The real you is replete with resources within everything we need to be happy and fulfilled. What else do we need to get by in life other than wisdom, love, patience, perseverance, kindness, acceptance, peace, and joy? With these strengths and without fear and other negative emotions created by thought, couldn't you handle anything? How powerful we actually are, but we don't necessarily know it. Each and every one of us has boundless untapped resources available to us. The Father does not leave us stranded. We have been given a substantial survival kit. In nature, there is no block to the voice of the divine creator. Diversity is the essence. Life is the essence of the life force which is manifest in the physical dimension. It reflects back to us beauty, power, unity, balance, and pure imagination. This body has many features, from the largest mountain to the tiniest grain of sand taken upon the wind. Each have a part in the completion of the whole. The presence of grace is found here, and now is where she lives. This is where she always awaits for us to join her, and beauty and love are her gifts to share. Here we have the golden opportunity to join in the grand adventure of the physical, mystical, and primordial experience of the self. The golden opportunity in the third dimension for the spirit to become flesh in the realms and vibrations of matter. Old thought patterns and ideas and beliefs can be like heavy anchors to the lightness of our being. Our spirits, having decided to have a human experience, have come to the kingdom of earth plane. Thoughts, therefore, are our own creations, and the pure beingness of the body is our classroom. In it, learn how to create, mostly by trial and error and influences and example. Some of us have had positive experiences, some negative, in the early phases of our existence, though through other influences such as family, society, and religion. Blessed are those who have had many negative experiences early on, because we are here to become PhDs, precious hosts of the divine, and master students, teachers, and way showers. Blessed are those who have had mostly positive experience also, because they become great healers, helpers, and guides as we all work together toward unity in Christ consciousness to help build God's kingdom on earth, using the laws of oneness, attraction, and magnetism. These are spiritual universal laws. Whether we are aware of them or practice them does not change the truth of their existence. These laws are only a few of the gifts of God as the grace of God stands behind us, teaching and guiding, gently holding our little hands on our pencils. So back to the body of creation. It must exist in the now. It runs many parts of us without our help or even awareness. The currents of grace run through us. It's fairly passive, and it generally works better if loved by self and others. Even though our small minds, egos, try to take us on a self-guided tour of fear, lack, and judgment. These page-turning things, I know I got to get better at this. As God said to Moses at Mount Sinai, "In their hearts I will put my laws, and in their minds I will write them." In their minds I will write them. This is where we are. Like John says, this is the time of the mind. God is writing our minds. He's turning us back, He's showing us where we need to focus, and not on our little scared minds, of the little ego minds, but the big one. We're ready. For our minds can be a bridge or a blockade to the voice of the Holy Spirit. Primordial fear, which is an aspect of this, the physical realm, has been able to seep a little into the soul's vibration where it has no reference, for it only has its function in the manifest reality. This rogue vibration, being in the realm of individuation or self, seeks to enter the God mind but can't because it does not exist. As the backronym so beautifully encodes, fear is false evidence appearing real. So the body, being in the unity and of the third dimension, or the vibration of the Trinity, is aware of this glitch, so it is in the emotional field where we are most sensitive to this faulty programming. So a cleansing is happening on all three levels of humanity: mental, emotional, physical. This vibrational light force is coming from the sixth dimension to the fifth and fourth to help restore balance to our world. I guess God is just giving us a little light bath. We are now in the time of enlight. In the mental and mystical energy fields, your presence is what's requested. Your presence is what's requested. Pretty easy, huh? So the final preparations have begun. The stage is being set. The actors are polishing up their scripts. The lights are being set. The choirs of angels are clearing their voices, their throats. The musicians are tuning their instruments, waiting for the greatest show to be seen by humanity. As the conductor lifts his wand, and a great hush falls on the audience, we all take in a deep and excited breath. Places everyone. The show is about to begin. The shift is universal. The awakening is in motion. We are being shaken a little out of the dark seas of indifference and denial. We are here to anchor this into the physical dimension. As this becomes more apparent, the shadows in us and the planet will come into the light. Don't sweat it. Accept, allow, and surrender. The intellect and intuition are coming more into balance on this plane. We can help by placing more emphasis on this, our intuitive female side, in our everyday lives. Our multidimensional beings have come here to be present during the wonderful time to learn and grow in consciousness, as well as be of service to this divine event. As above, so below. Make no mistake, we are many. Trust in the plan and build your faith. Channel light. Express love. Let light and love fill any and all dark spaces, for the quickening is upon us. The quickening. Someday I'll have this all just come out, but I still have to read my scripts. Be still and know that I am with you. For many decades, this process has been unfolding. Watching our progress, the intergalactic system is here for us. The shift is being felt in all dimensions and realms of the unified brother and sisterhoods of light. When the planetary clock hit 12, it is a sign that here and on the third dimension, in the realm of the Trinity consciousness, is in this plane of duality, the quickening has begun. This was the eclipse. This is when they said that the 12, that was the eclipse. That's the quickening point for the planet itself. It's like the gas pedal. Somebody hit the gas pedal kind of a thing. The seeding in this dimension was initiated more than 2,000 Earth years ago. We, as gardeners of light, know that the harvest is now near. As the beautiful plants appear from the darkness of the Great Mother's womb, all will be awakening to the presence of the light. Many will start bearing their fruit in this amazing and powerful time of healing and co-creation. Many are now feeling their own quickening as our true selves are being more integrated into and onto this plane. As more of us are awakened to the embracing our multidimensional selves, we become mirrors to many more involved in this great shift into the unified mind of the Christ consciousness. With love and great patience, we abide with you all as your brothers and sisters of the light, to stand with you and bear witness to this magnificent unfoldment of our infinite Creator's plan for us all. The shift is universal, the awakening is in motion, and it's gaining a lot of momentum. We are being shaken a little and rising out of the dark seas of indifference and denial. I must have read that already. I want to say it again. Many of us help anchor the vibration into the physical. It becomes apparent the shadows in ourselves. Okay. Sorry, guys, I went off here. Okay, so that's in process. So you can see there's a lot of material that's come through already, and I hope it hits whatever way it needs to. So here's our message from Michael. Fear not, for God is with you. For many days, months, and years, the darkness has been revealed to humanity. As a collective and unified consciousness, we have experienced and witnessed the the presence of these forces. The good news is that the battle has been won. More light is now permeating this field of the third dimension than ever before in planetary history, and the effects are being felt throughout the entire creation. The process of acclimating and integration into the realm of light and heaven's kingdom is in process. Because of the shift in Earth's vibrational field, more beings from higher dimensions are now incarnating in record pace. You will still be witnessing pods of negative energies and dark forces, as they are also magnetized to areas where they can still manifest. Their territorial base is becoming smaller and smaller, as many are turning on the lights, and the dark corners and spaces become less and less available. The controllers and service-to-self entities still believe that the old fear-based consciousness will survive. So you will still see some of their effects, and they will complete their mission and reap their final harvest, for they cannot be supported or exist much longer in this vibration. So my main message to all of my fellow beings of the light is to focus, focus, focus on love, peace, joy, and most of all, hope. Nurture, share, and expand these aspects in one another. Follow your hearts and intuition in all matters. Bring faith into full practice. To all you precious hosts of the divine, love and light, call on me anytime, Michael, protector and messenger. Thank you.